Hi, I'm Christine from Modern Charm Stitchery, and today I have a really fun tutorial for you making these English paper pieced hexi flowers. So I really wanted this tutorial to be completely beginner friendly, so this is going to be a two-part series, and this video has all of the information you need on the materials that you need for English paper piecing, as well as how to baste your hexagons, or rather get the fabric around the template papers. So everything you need to prep your hexis. And then in part 2 of the video, which I'll include a link below, but in part 2 of the video will be all of the information you need on how to construct and actually sew these flowers together. So many of my patterns you'll see have these hexi flowers in them. And I did just want to make a quick note that this is my Lullaby Garden pattern. And the flowers on here use 1.5 inch hexagons. They are a little bigger than the 1 inch hexagons that you see in the tutorial today. But it's the exact same process, just a little bit bigger over here. So I'm going to take the camera, I'm going to turn it around, bring it over to my workstation, and we'll get started. Okay, so let's start by looking at all of the materials that you will need. And I will include links to everything in the show notes below. But aside from fabric, which of course you will need some template papers. So today I'm going to be using 1 inch hexagons, but these template papers come in all shapes and sizes. You can get diamonds, triangles, you can get larger hexagons, but today we're using these 1 inch hexagons to make these cute little hexi flowers. And there will be more on this later, but another thing I recommend is getting a hole punch because you'll be punching holes in these. It will just make the papers easier to remove at the end, but more on that later. So the next thing that you will need is a strong but very fine thread. So my choice is I use the Aurifil 80 weight thread. I think it's super fine, probably can't even see it, but it's also extremely durable. And I like that Aurifil has them coming in all the different colors. So the finer the thread that you use, the less likely you will see the stitches. So that's why you want to use the thinnest thread you can find, and also if you can match the color, you want your stitches to look invisible. Along those same lines is your needle size. So most sewists would probably tell you to use a milliner's needle for English paper piecing. However, I have a really hard time threading milliner's needles, so I just use, I don't even know what size this is, but I would say use the smallest size needle, the smallest eye that you can find that's not too difficult for you to thread, because you're going to be threading this several times throughout the process, and if it's a challenge, then this is not going to be fun for you. So the smaller the needle, the more likely you are to have those invisible stitches, but if it's not fun for you, then you're not going to do it at all. So I would say, see, this is even a little challenging for me. Milliner's needles, if you can do them, but if not, whatever size needle you use is probably going to be fine. And I like to use a thimble when I sew as well. So let's see if you choose to do thread basting, that's really all you'll need aside from maybe some flat pins and of course some scissors. If you choose to do glue basting though, you will need a glue pen. So these glue sticks, the glue comes out blue, but it dries clear. And I think we've covered everything. The only thing that's here that we haven't covered are these template rulers, which are completely not necessary, but they do make cutting your fabric a little bit easier. So we'll cover that in just a moment. But again, any of these materials will be listed below. And these are the things that I use to make my EPP hexi flowers. All right, so as I mentioned, there are 2 ways to baste your hexagons. And what basting really just means is prepping your hexagons for sewing. So we need to get the fabric attached to these template papers. And there's 2 ways you can do it. One is with the glue pen and the other is with needle and thread. So we need to have this hexagon on here so that it's ready to be sewn. So this is still all part of the prep work. And there are pros and cons to whichever way you choose to do it. And I'll talk about those as I'm kind of sewing here. But for today, let's just start with thread basting. So really, either way you decide to go, the first thing you need to do is you need to cut some of your fabric. So let me take a flat pin here, make this a little easier. And you are going to want to have a seam allowance of about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch. This does not have to be exact. You just don't want too much because then you have a lot of extra bulk. So you're gonna kind of trim. I'm just using an eyeball here. Again, does not need to be perfect because this is gonna be tucked under. Oops. Okay, so you see I've got about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch around. Now, if you feel like your eyeball is not good or you just want a more precise way of doing it, that's where these templates kind of come in, or the template rulers come into place. So you would be able to put this right on your fabric and then just use your rotary cutter to cut out. Where I really like using these, and I have these in all different sizes, is if you're fussy cutting. So if you wanted that center hexagon to have, you know, a certain part of your print, you put this right on there and then you could guarantee that it would be centered. So these are a handy little tool, but definitely not necessary, especially if you're just starting out with paper piecing. Okay, so let's start with the thread basting. All right, so what I should have done before I started, before I even put this in here, was to hole punch. So especially, it's not as important, I feel, when you're doing glue basting, but when you are thread basting, and this will make more sense later, if you hole punch that hexagon template, when you go to remove it, it is so much easier because I'm gonna stick my scissors in there and just pop that template out. So let's stick this back in here. Just kind of hold it in place. All right, so next, you're gonna take your needle and your thread, and I don't think I have enough thread on here. So let me cut a little bit more. And I'm gonna use the thread that most closely matches my fabric, but again, that's not super important, especially with the basting stitches. Okay. And this is why you wanna have a needle that is easy for you to thread, or else you're gonna be getting just frustrated. And for me, this is supposed to be super relaxing. Okay, so what you're gonna do to start is you're gonna fold over one edge, and then you're gonna fold over the other edge next to it to make a corner. Okay, so you have one corner of your hexagon here, and then you're gonna take your needle, your threaded needle, and you're gonna put it through both sides of the fabric. Pull it through, and you're gonna use your finger to kind of hold on to that little tail there. So this end of my thread is all the way through, and I've got one end that's kind of hanging through by the tail. And then I'm gonna loop it back through. And I'm gonna wrap 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna pull it. And I'm gonna do that one more time. This is just making my knot. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this back so I don't get poked. I'm gonna go to the next corner and I'm gonna pull that down. This time I don't need to kind of wrap it all the way around. I just need to go through both sides of the hexagon, the fabric on both sides, pull it, and then just do a loop. Go through one more time through those same holes. Go to the next side. So I've got this fabric down. I'm pulling this side down to make the corner. I'm going through this edge of the fabric on this edge, coming out on the fabric on that edge. Oops, I pulled through my needle, my thread through my needle here. Okay, and back through that same hole, back there. And you're gonna do that on each edge. I can take that out now. Go through. See, my fabric got a little thin on this side, but it'll still work. Okay, and I'll do that last corner down. And on the last corner, you're going to go through just like you have been, but you're going to repeat what you did on the first corner, and you're going to go through and you're going to wrap 1, 2, 3 and make a knot. There's one. I'll do that a second time. Okay. And there you go. You have one hexagon basted. So I like to cut out all of my fabric beforehand. So this is going to be the center hexagon. And next we're going to baste some of the petals. So it's going to be the exact same process. So I'm going to show you one more just for clarity's sake. So I'm going to hole punch and put that in the center. There. Take a flat needle or a flat pin. Stick it through. And then I'll try and center that a little bit more. And then I'm going to fold those corners down and take my needle and thread. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last time, but you definitely want to make sure that one edge, so it's hard to see. The thread is so fine, but I have one tail that's shorter than the other tail. That just makes it easier when you pull it through. So I fold one edge down, I fold the other edge down, and then I go through the fabric on this edge and out through the other edge, pull it, and I'm going to hang on to that tail with my thumb. And then I'm going to stick it back in those same holes, and I'm going to wrap 1, 2, 3, and make a knot. And then I'm going to do that one more time just to make sure that knot doesn't unravel. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then I'll move to the next side, keeping this edge folded down, fold down that edge, and just loop it through. Up through the same hole, and then to the next side. So the benefit of doing thread basting is that the templates are a lot easier to remove. The glue can get kind of stuck. The glue can also be sticky. The glue can also get expensive. So thread basting is cheaper, requires fewer materials, and it's easier to remove. I think people would argue though that glue basting is maybe a little easier and also more time efficient to get on. So it's extremely fast to just glue your templates together, but it takes longer to remove them. So I'm not really sure if it is that much more time efficient. I will say I glue baste more often because I'm usually anxious to get started, but often if I'm in the car on a car ride and I don't have my glue stick with me, or I run out of glue because it runs out pretty quickly, I am happy that I know how to thread baste because I can still work on some projects. So I'm wrapping this around one more time. There we go. There we go. So now we have those two basted. So I baste all of my hexagons first and then I'll sew them all together. So next I'm going to show you how to do glue basting. Okay, so glue basting is extremely simple. You're just going to take your fabric, you already had it cut, and your template. You don't need to hole punch these because when you remove them, you're not going to pop them out. You're going to have to peel back the glue a little bit. Take this glue pen. Again, it comes out blue, but it will dry clear. It will not ruin your fabric. They do get a little tacky, as I mentioned before, a little sticky. So sometimes I like to wash my hands after I do a bunch of glue basting. But you're gonna so let me do that again. Put just a little bit of glue right there on the edge of the template paper, and then you're gonna fold the fabric down onto it to make it stick. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, but I'm gonna get a little bit of glue on the fabric that's folded over, and then I'll fold that side down. And I go all the way around. So again, it is a little bit quicker to get them on. As I mentioned, it's a little bit harder to get them off sometimes. So it really comes down to personal preference. all the way around. One thing that I do appreciate about glue basting is I feel like the fabric base a little bit tighter to the template paper. So I'll show you what I mean. So that's glue basted. I feel like this is a little bit, the edges are maybe not quite as crisp as they are on here, but it usually doesn't matter because when you sew them together, then you'll still get that crisp corner. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna baste the rest of these, and then I'll meet you back in the next video to show you how to use these basted templates to make an EPP hexi flower. Okay, so I'll see you there.